Hey, y'all, what it do? What the business is? Big Boss, K-Po, Talk Boxing, Promo, Soliloquy. And tough times don't last. Good people do, don't have to show. Call them in the pilot, maybe you matter. Peak game. 80 posts on what's one. Y'all already know what it is, man. We clutched up, we clutched up. You know what I'm talking about. But before we get into the main entree, the main dish, got to introduce the other hosts. Salute to all our soldiers. And I want to send prayers to them soldiers on that army base, man. Georgia, I think that was in Georgia. Prayers to everybody, man. Brody on the hustle, aka Coach B. Let them know how you doing, man.
Hey, what it is, folks? You know what it is when you hear these two voices. Like Capo said, we clutched up, we clutched that. Man, like I said, like I tell you all the time, it's a blessing. God put breath in your body. Everything else is extra. Get up, do you, take care of the family. Remember, put yourself first. It's not being selfish. If you're not in order with yourself, nothing else will make sense. Nothing else will be in order. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. And always remember, we better off with you here than without you. Call that mental health hotline. 988 is the number. With all that being said, Capo, let's go. Let's let them know how we flow.
Already. So we're gonna go into this card that potentially could be made. It's a Golden Boy versus PBC card. Um, just reported. I got this information from Dan, the boxing man. Shout out to him. And it's also on BoxingNews24.com. So Oscar De La Hoya mentioned in the past, he was talking about Turkey LSU on his cutback Thursday. He said, "Hey man, look, me, Al Heyman, and Bob Bam, we ain't going nowhere." So and Oscar De La Hoya has never talked like that. He's never talked about Al Heyman in a positive light. You know what I'm saying? Although they used to be business partners on Golden Boy, but it's been a while since he, kind of, you know, just kind of talk like that about Al Heyman. And when he said him, Bob, and Al not going nowhere, you know, I got kind of, happy because in boxing the past couple of years has been size of the street. Well, they coming together to make this fight card. And Vergil Ortiz is going to be the main entree, the main guy. And he's going against a crafty veteran, a former unified champion at 147 pounds, who recently came back this year and knocked out that Ken doll in Australia and sent him back down under. And I'm not talking about Tim Zoo. Keith Thurman. One time Thurman is rumored to face Vergil Ortiz. And then on the co-main, they got Frank Martin versus Arnold Barboza. Man, I'm excited about that. So, Coach, what you think about that fight card? And if you would, let's do a little coach's corner. I like that. Then break those two fights down and who you got winning those fights.
First and foremost, I like the fact that the OGs, the seasoned vets of the boxing world is finally trying to come together, and we all know why. Sometimes when you see unity happen between you know certain promotional companies or just in life in general, that means somebody else from the outside looking in is trying to infiltrate the system. Me, I'm dropping names. Turkey is the guy they're trying to keep from ruining the sport. I'm glad they stepped up. They got together and doing what they're supposed to do as Golden Boy Promotions, PBC, and Top Rank. I like it. Continue to do it because I still personally feel like Turkey is, destroying the sport of boxing, the sport we all, have grown to know and love. But with all that being said, I like it. I like these two fights: Ortiz, Thurman, Martin, Barbosa. Let's start with Martin and Barbosa. With Martin, I still got to see how he looks in the ring. I see some of the footage of him training, how he looks at 140. He looks good. He looks like he's starting to learn himself as a fighter. He looks like he's gain the patience on how to set things up and then follow up and build upon what you're doing in the ring. His footwork is starting to grow, his hand placement and where he carries his hands throughout sparring, it looks better. So I'm giving Frank Martin the benefit of the doubt. uh like I say, with him at 140, I want to see how he looks in the ring. He looks ready. He looks great. He looks like he's mentally prepared. Of course, he's physically prepared. He's not a guy who's ever really out of shape. He's not away from the realm of what he's supposed to be doing at all times. He sticks within what a fighter's supposed to do. He's in shape. He's ready to go at all times. Whoever calls his name, he's ready for that smoke, and he's gonna get out there and give it his all. And with that being said, like I said before, I want to see him at 140. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, but he's going against Barbosa, another guy, another fighter who understands himself as a fighter. Like I said before, when fighters know who they are, they just make the bout, the fight, the match that much more difficult for the opposition because they know what they have to do to win, but at the same time, they also know when they get in there, if what they're doing is not working, they will take shape, they will take form, they will step up and do what it is they need to do, even if it's against what they normally do, what they're known for. They will get in there, they will step up, they'll transform, they'll move like water, take shape, and continue to make the fight difficult and do everything they got to do to get their hand raised. I ain't gonna lie. Some tells me Frank Martin, but it's his first fight at 140. I might have to rock with Barbosa. Again, I would have to see what Martin looks like in the ring. Oh man, that's a good fight. That's a tough fight to actually judge. You know, styles make fights, and I love Barbosa's style again because he's a fighter who knows himself. And Frank Martin, like I say, he's growing, he's learning. But at the same time, something tells me Frank Martin's gonna win this fight. But right now, I'm leaning more towards Barbosa. Now let's get into the Thurman, the Keith one-time Thurman, and Vergil Ortiz. From what I understand, what I've seen, what's been going down, Vergil Ortiz should win this fight. But you cannot overlook an OG seasoned vet like Keith one-time Thurman. Why? Because he's going to get in there and he's going to give it everything he's got, and he's not going to back down. And he's one of those fighters who will not take no for an answer. If he sees an opportunity to put Ortiz down, or he sees the opportunity to win this by 12 rounds, Keith Thurman will, I repeat, he will do what he has to do to get back on top. This is another guy, you know, who reminds me of Earl Spence. He's not running from no smoke. He's gonna fight whoever you gotta fight. And if he gotta chase you down, he's gonna chase you down and get you in the ring. That's what he gotta do. He's a vet. He knows how to cut the ring off. He knows how to use his jab. He has above average defense. He definitely still has power. He definitely still knows what he's doing when he gets in there. Now, he has to be careful with a guy like Vergil Ortiz, because Vergil Ortiz does have a nice skill set himself. He has a nice skill set. Another fighter who understands himself, and another fighter who won't back down and take no for an answer. So when it all boils down to it, Vergil Ortiz should win this fight. But I'm going to say this fight will end in a knockout in round 9. Vergil Ortiz finally puts the right combination together and catches Keith Thurman slipping. He puts him down on the canvas, and it'll end in a knockout in round 9. Vergil Ortiz gets his hand raised. Controversial match, and I think this will be one of those fights where we're gonna be hooting and hollering, talking about, hey, let's get a rematch between these two. But again, I'm not taking anything away from Keith Thurman, but I think Vergil Ortiz just got it right now. He on the roll. He on a tear. He's one of those, you know, quiet boogeymans in his division at 154. So it is what it is. I'm taking Vergil Ortiz knockout round 9.
It's a fire card. Yet again, I second what Coach said. Shout out to Al Hammond and Oscar De La Hoya. You know, Oscar De La Hoya to me fell off as a promoter, but you know, I can co-sign this one. You know, I definitely can co-sign this fight card. Him and Al Hammond working together. Frank Martin, Arnold Barboza. Arnold Barboza has been at 140 longer. Fought Teofimo, you know, and was on a good little run before he lost to Teofimo. Frank Martin is the unknown, right? He's got a new trainer. He just got a whole new situation, so we don't know what Frank Martin's fighting style is going to be. So going into the fight, I would favor Arnold Barboza, but I would not be shocked if Frank Martin come in there and dominate. Frank Martin is a guy who's athletic, great fundamentals. I just want him to get his defense better. So we shall see, him coming in with Buddy McGirt. He's not with Derek James no more. Him coming in with Buddy McGirt and his new Hispanic trainer, I forgot his name. We shall see what he's able to do. But Frank Martin always comes in shape. He's always ready to go. All he needs is a reason. And y'all fighters pay attention, man. Dudes like this. He's a constant professional. This dude stay ready, so he ain't got to get ready. So, I like Hunter Barbosa, but I wouldn't be shocked if Frank Martin is able to get the nod. Keith Thurman, Vergil Ortiz, man, it's a great fight. Good clash on styles. You got the young, hungry lion in Vergil Ortiz. You got power, relentless. He's a big guy. You know what I mean? We're gonna keep it 1,000. And you got Keith Thurman, who got power. His power translated up. Now, granted, it was against a low-level guy, but his power still translated up. You got guys who came from 147 who couldn't even knock down a 54-pounder. Like Danny Garcia fought at 54. He ain't knocked out, knocked down, nothing. Dudes are standing right in front of Danny Garcia. You got Terrence Crawford, who fought at 154 one time and fought Majimov and couldn't hurt Majimov. So I think that when I mean couldn't hurt, I'm talking about like couldn't hurt him how he was hurting dudes at 46. Right. So the mail ticket that because Bud Booty World coming here. Oh, what do you mean? Y'all be trying, man. But it's a great clash on styles. So the question is, can Vergil Ortiz deal with the feet work and boxing IQ of a Keith Thurman? Right. Now, Keith Thurman does not like getting hit to the body. Right. Everybody who pay attention to Keith Thurman, you touch that stomach, that boy start getting on that fifth ward trail ride. Holla pimp. That boy moving around the ring. He doing everything. He hitting the Macarena. That man is gonna be all over that ring. You touch that stomach. So I think, Vergil Ortiz need to really invest to the body on Keith Thurman. If he's able to do that, he should get a stoppage. He should stop Keith Thurman. I say between rounds 7 and 9. But if he can't touch Keith Thurman's body, he in for a long night, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. The key for Vergil Ortiz is to touch that body. Because if you touch the body, that kills the legs. Right? And that opens up headshots too. Right? Because now Keith Thurman is more stationary. Like I said, Vergil Ortiz ain't no little dude, bro. He a very big guy, Paul. So he's big for 54. Keith Thurman ain't no little dude either, but he ain't as big as Vergil Ortiz. But like I said before, if Vergil Ortiz can't touch Keith Thurman's body, I can see Keith Thurman give him a boxing lesson. Mm-hmm. And just outpoint him and winning the fight on points. So the key for Vergil Ortiz is touching that body. Keith Thurman, the key for him is just boxing. Just boxing, being light on his toes, jabbing, throwing a lot of jabs, frustrating Vergil Ortiz. Keith Thurman, people talk about Keith Thurman as like he wasn't a unified champ. Like, that's why I didn't understand why Devin Haney and Clarissa Shields was like, oh, I want to fight Keith Thurman. I'm like, no, you don't. That boy like, no, you don't. Like, just because he ain't fighting a lot, don't think he a slouch. Like, that's Keith Thurman. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry, David. If Keith Thurman land on you, your daddy gonna be mad. Your daddy gonna be on Twitter going crazy. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have to bring a casket out for your son. Pause. I'm just keeping it positive. Clarissa Shields, Papoose gonna want to fight Keith Thurman after he knock you out. So all I'm saying at the end of the day, Keith Thurman ain't no slouch. He got high boxing IQ. Truthfully, I wanted to see him in Errol. I want to see him in Terrence Crawford. I think those are beautiful fights.
Most definitely.
I think those are beautiful fights. But like I said, for me, Vergil got to touch that body in order to get that win. If he do that, I can see a stoppage from him. Keith Thurman, I see a boxing lesson if Vergil Ortiz can't get to his body. Now I got a little spin-off. Errol. There's been talks about Oscar De La Hoya wants Vergil Ortiz and Errol Spence. So if Errol decides to come back, put Errol Spence in the co-main event, slide Frank Martin in the third slot, put Errol Spence in the co-main event, put him against a Brian Castano, Brian Mendoza. Here's the play. Errol Spence got history with Keith Thurman. What I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he got history. He wanted to fight Keith Thurman at 147. Keith Thurman blackballed him. Right, so there's history there, and a lot of people still want to see that fight. That'd be a big money fight between two older guys. Also, you got Errol Spence versus Vergil Ortiz. That'd be big in Texas because they both from Texas, right? So you get Errol Spence's tune-up fight, and depending on how he look in that tune-up fight, if he wins, boom, you set him up for a major mega fight, whether it's against Vergil Ortiz or Keith Thurman.
Mm-hmm.
Who else should be a promoter? All I'm saying at the end of the day, that either way it go, with Errol, without Errol, it's a fine card. But if you want to make this card just extravagant, talk Errol Spence into coming back and fighting Brian Castano and have and basically link him to the winner of that Keith Thurman and Vergil Ortiz fight. You know what I mean? Like that'd be fine. I mean, Coach, what you think about that? Like, you think that card would kill if they is able to bring Errol back? Let me know something.
Oh man, if they can get Earl, Ortiz, Thurman, all on one card in the same night, that'll be the fight card of the year. Honestly, that'll top Turkey's little card that he finally put together. The Haney and Brian Norman card. That'll top that. I like it a lot. It ain't nothing to be sad about. It ain't nothing to say negative about that card. If they can get Spence, Ortiz, and Thurman to fight all in one night, and then you got Frank Martin and Barboza on there too as well. You giving them some extra shine. You giving them a chance to make headlines and make a name, make a bigger name for themselves. I mean, hey, the sky's the limit for anybody that's on that card because people are going to tune in. Why? Because you got Spence, you got Thurman, you got Ortiz. Who don't want to see any of those fighters? Then, like you say, Spence looked good on the co-main. He gets the winner of the main, whether it be Vergil or Keith. That's another win in itself. People gonna tune back in to see when that fight is supposed to happen. Then you got belts involved. What? Yeah, let's please. Yeah, you should push it to PBC and Golden Boy. Email them right now. Let them know, hey, I got something for y'all, and I want my cut. I want my 10%. That's a lovely night right there. Then the follow up, whoever wins, put Spence in there with them. Some more money coming everybody way. People gonna tune in and watch Spence regardless of what happened against Bud. I hate to bring it up. You know they're gonna talk about it, but at the same time, it's Errol Spence. Especially if we get Errol Spence and Keith Thurman. I think that fight might be bigger than Vergil and Spence. I think that fight might be bigger because, like you say, they got history. Spence wanted to fight Thurman, like hands down. We already know who Spence is as a person, as a fight, as a boxer, as a fighter. He not running from nobody. And I guarantee you put that plate on the table. He ready to eat. Thurman ready to eat. He should be ready to eat. Vergil ready to eat. They all hungry. So putting that together would be wonderful. That would be nice. That would be something that'll fulfill my whole month, whatever month they set up that fight. Yeah, that'll fulfill it. I'll be good. Fight card of the year, then backdoor. Whatever month they set up that'll be fight card of the month. I love it. You got to push that to somebody.
Thanks. I'm telling you, man. I need to get promoted, man. Y'all need to. Hey, Oscar. Hey, man. Y'all, if y'all want to put together a card, hit us up on Clutch Factory, man. We'll put something nice together for y'all, man. We want 25% though.
Big facts.
25%, man. Pay per view or fight card, man.
Now that's it for me. All I gotta say is you done spent the last 30 minutes to an hour with your two favorite hosts that'll never leave you in the dark with a ghost about any post when it comes to this hip boxing scene. Shout out to all the followers, all the subscribers, all the shares, all the likers, all the commenters. Continue to do y'all thing. Help this thing stay afloat because we can't build this boat without y'all. And with all that being said, hey, we got much love for everybody who support us. You got anything you want to tell us? We accept positive criticism on this side. We ain't with that hoorah. You come over here talking that crazy stuff, you gonna get checked. Don't matter which way you get checked, you gonna get checked. Could be me, could be boss. Either way it goes, hey, we over here. We trying to grow. We still at the beginning of this process. We not gonna ever see the end because it's always gonna continue to grow, and we're gonna continue to do what we got to do on this show. And we always gonna let y'all know with much love how we feel, and we always talk about this from our own perspective, from our own opinion. Like Capo said, everybody entitled to their own opinion. So just remember that. Say what you got to say, but you got to respect the person on the opposite end. They got their own opinion, but at the same time, if it's wrong, it's wrong. If it's right, it's right. We stand on that over here on Clutch Factory. And with all that being said, that's Boss. I'm Coach B, aka Brody on the Hustle. We up out of here.
Yo.